It was super exciting to get to be in Cairo at the pyramids and Vienna at the National Library and like be in these iconic, majestic spaces in real life was just the best.
I had a tiny little bit to do and I loved every second of it. They were
You
incredible.
nailed it.
Thank you very much. I would have loved to have missed your hand there. That would have been the way to do it.
The fountain was hidden. He can't succeed.
So you really think you're gonna find a magic pool of water at the end of this?
I don't know. But I think you want to find out.
So, Natalie, I got to ask you first question. You've done a lot of huge movies, but what makes something like this a little bit different in the fact that you guys are on location for quite a bit of the film? I feel like movies, modern blockbusters, aren't really shot that way anymore. So it gave it kind of a unique vibe and a unique feel that I feel that I haven't seen in a while in a movie like this.
You totally put your finger on it. I mean, I went from Star Wars, which was almost entirely blue screen, to Thor, where we had the volume, which is like, you know, the LED 360 projection, which felt like, okay, I can see what my environment is, to this, which was actual real places with real people. And that was thrilling. It was super exciting to get to be in Cairo at the pyramids and Vienna at the National Library and like be in these iconic, majestic spaces in real life was just the best.
And I wasn't in Thor, so
But you
yes, I was Star Wars basically.
Well, John, I have to ask you, I mean, you and I are roughly the same age group, and I grew up, you know, daydreaming of being Indiana Jones, and you kind of get to live it in this movie. What was that like? That must have been kind of a dream come true, right?
Nailing this interview, because that's exactly correct. I grew up on these movies, so these are the movies that I would run through the woods pretending I was in, and I would be searching for some treasure and running away from the bad guys, which were my brothers. And to be in the movie that I pretended to be in is incredible. And to get to do it with Natalie and to get to do it with Guy, it's just, it was really one of those dream come true moments.
Well, and also one of the things that I really enjoyed about the movie was the family dynamic between the two of you. And I was wondering, Natalie, when you sign on for a movie like this, how often do you actually see that, though, where there's kind of a believable relationship between the two people and things that, you know, we can all relate to?
It's true. You really rarely see brother-sister dynamics at the center of a movie, and certainly not this kind of movie. So it was really kind of unique to get to play that, and it was super fun getting to do that with John, who's obviously such a brilliant comedian, such a brilliant actor, and was so kind and friendly immediately. So it was just very easy to play this kind of bickery sibling thing that I know nothing about because I'm an only child, but I definitely dreamed about a lot about what it would be like to have a sibling.
And John, what is so Guy Ritchie, it seems that actors just love working with him, right? And that he works with a lot of the same people over and over and over again. As an actor, I mean, I know as a movie fan, I love his frenetic pace and style, and you know, there are a million reasons I can tell you why I love a Guy Ritchie movie. But what is it about for an actor that makes him such an attractive person to work with?
That's a really good question. I mean, for me, before I got to know him, it was all his filmmaking. I mean, I think those choices are so specific. There are very few directors in this world where you can identify who the director is as quickly as you can identify who the lead of the movie is. And I think that that's incredible. But then when you actually get to work with him, for me, it's the energy. There is a genuine love, not only for movies, but for making movies. And so his entire crew adores him. He's so smart, he's so funny, and he leaves the door open to anything's possible. And that's very rare to find in these days. And I think that the anything possible is collaboration, but it's also where we went in the movie. It's all this big personality brings a big movie. And so that was the most fun to work with him.
Oh, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Good talking to you. Bye. So I got to start. Eiza, I've seen you in tons of action movies, but this is the first time I've seen you do like a ton of like physical action and fight
See?
scenes.
I did
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
And I thought you were great.
People think that I'm in a lot of action movies. I'm like, I'm not. I don't do action quite often. I think it's the only time that I've done like action.
Well, like in hand-to-hand stuff, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that because I thought your fight scenes in the movie were terrific and they were really well done. So, what was that like going into full-on kind of James Bond territory almost?
You're funny. Our incredible stunt team. My God, we are so lucky. They were like really fun in a sense of you get to meet a lot of stunt coordinators and stunties, and they're all incredible. And by the way, shout out to how incredible that they're getting nominated now for the Oscars because this is a long-awaited thing that they truly deserved a decade ago or more, decades ago. But so they were just like creative around the whole thing because when you're doing action movies, you have to kind of reinvent the wheel. And so we had the opportunity to be in a global trotting movie. Therefore, let's bring a little bit of each place into the action sequences. So I was saying earlier, when it came to Thailand, we were like, okay, let's bring a bit of Muay Thai. So I would go to the local gyms and work with the Thai Muay Thai fighters, and then sort of hand combat, a lot of stick work and all the train sequences. Simultaneously, when we're in Vienna, there's an elegance to that city. Obviously, there's such a sort of ballerina sense to the performance and the fight that we wanted to have a lot of twirls, a lot of turns, and it's like a romantic scene, right? That they're sort of flirting with each other, and so there's like a dance-like sort of sense to it. So there was all of these little things that our incredible team sort of were sprinkling around along the way, and it made an amazing different experience. At least for me, I'd never done it before, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope it's just the beginning to other jobs like this. I really would.
I'm sure.
And you would do amazing too.
I'm sure I would.
I think we should do like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie together.
You would not make it through uninjured.
I think you would do amazing.
I'm not sure how I am as a dance partner in those terms. I'm not
incredible.
quite John Krasinski, but yeah.
Was this your first fight scene? Was this your first fight scene, Domhnall? I was wondering.
I've taken a lot of punches in movies. I've not thrown so many. So yeah. I've taken more than I've thrown for sure. But I was saying earlier on, I loved working with the stunt team. I had a tiny little bit to do, and I loved every second of it. They were incredible. Thank you very much. I would have loved to have missed your hand there. That would have been the way to do it. It was great. I loved it. All
right, well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks a million.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.